I've been working at sea for the past 15 years. Part of it's been on world-class private yachts, and the other part of it has been on cruise ships. And in today's video, I want to share with you all the reasons why I'm so excited about working on a ship. Now, this year in 2024, I will be working on one of the most luxurious, most swankiest, most beautiful vessels at sea called Crystal Cruises. And for the very first time in my entire career, I'm going to be going on a world cruise. Now, this means that I'll be traveling to over 50 destinations in 152 days, and I will see so many places like India, Greece, France, Turkey, all the Polynesian islands, Australia. It's just gonna be amazing. And the best way to do this is as a Chinese medicine doctor on a ship. Why? Well, I'm gonna tell you all about that in this video today. In today's world, with technology advancing at an unprecedented rate, it is essential to question why our own healthcare system is not fully harnessing these advancements to help us reach our full potential. That's where my approach comes in. By integrating traditional wisdom with modern healing modalities, I believe we can create a healthcare system that truly supports us on our journey towards holistic wellness. So the first thing that I want to talk about in my 11 reasons why being an acupuncturist at sea is one of the best jobs is that you really begin to learn how to do public speaking. Public speaking is my absolute favorite thing to do. For some people, it's super scary, but I love inspiring people and influencing people to make wise decisions for their health. I mean, we live in a world today where our healthcare system is absolutely wonky, and we could really benefit from somebody who is very well-versed and well-rounded on the right decisions that we can make for ourselves, so that way we can live life fully. So public speaking is something that's going to enhance your career as a practitioner, because about 3 times a week, maybe 4, depending on how many port days there are and sea days there are, you are challenged to stand in front of 20 plus people and talk about what Chinese medicine is. It could be herbology, acupuncture, it could be about pain, it could be about arthritis, whatever it is. These talks and discussions are already created for you. You just learn how to deliver. And so in the past 15 years, I've been perfecting my delivery process, my public speaking ability, and ways that I can say words and words that encourage people to take a leap out in faith and try something that they've never done before. Training. There is quite a bit of training just before you start your career on a ship as an acupuncturist. One of them is you got to fly to LA. And here in LA, where I'm at today, I get a chance to see some of the most beautiful parts of LA. I love Santa Monica. I love Beverly Hills. I love going down Rodeo Drive and walking the shops and having a look down there and going shopping. And it's just cool. I get to travel to do training in a city that I love to be in. So this training is about 3 days, and they teach you about what it's like to be on a ship, what your schedule should look like. They also teach you how to give a presentation, and they give you a few presentations to get you started. And then when you get on board, that is when you really have to perform. So it's always encouraged that you become very familiar with the presentation, and then once you become familiar with it, eventually you will take off and start doing it on your own and making up your own presentations that work best for you. But the training on land doesn't stop there. When you are on board, you're also enrolled to train the other massage therapists and the estheticians, because there's a lot of cross-promoting that goes back and forth between the estheticians, the massage therapists, the acu, and the Medi Spa department. And this is really important. For any acupuncturist that's working in a facility where there are other professionals, you understand the value of cross-promoting. Now, the reason why I say acupuncturist is because you just have to be an acupuncturist to work on a ship in this capacity. You don't have to be a Chinese medicine doctor. You don't have to go out and get, a doctorate's degree for something like this. You can simply walk out of school with your license and walk right onto a ship within the next 30 days of getting your license. It's that fast, that simple. The training that I receive on board is pretty good, actually. They teach us how to sell, because by the time you get on the ship, you already know how to do acupuncture. You already know what points to use for pain, for TMJ, for seasickness. You already have these protocols because you've been practicing them in clinic for the years that you've been in school. And so by the time you get on board, you're learning about how to build rapport with the guest. And you learn how to train the other therapist. You learn how to, just talk to people and how to close a sale. So you really become a salesperson, because at the very end of the day, when people come to get acupuncture, they really don't know what they're getting themselves into. They don't know, this is either their first choice or their last resort. And so you really want to be able to clearly talk about what acupuncture is and enroll people into an opportunity to work with you for at least 5 days or 6 days or however long the journey, the cruise is. And it's really important that we do this, because people are going to get the most benefit out of working with a practitioner consecutively. And the treatments are going to have a more of a lasting effect when they're closer together. And this is proven in China, where in China, you get treatments every day until your condition has been resolved. Whereas in the United States, it's like every other day, every couple of days, which doesn't make Chinese medicine as effective as it could be. Now, there are other modalities that we use in between, like herbal formulation, food therapy, but when you're on a ship, it's a little harder to control food therapy. It's harder to enroll people into, sticking with the herbal formulation in the very beginning. So when they get an experience with you for the next, 5 days, 7 days, months, then they begin to build trust in you. And then they start to take the herbs, and then they see how lasting the effects of your treatments have been. And so it's really important that not only does the practitioner do their due diligence in making sure that the patient understands what they're going through, but that the patient also knows that they have to put in a commitment. And that commitment is more than just financial. You have to take your herbs, you have to do your exercises, you have to do your breath work, you have to eat properly. These are all very important things. Another reason why I love working on ships is working on a ship in this capacity is literally a turnkey operation. I don't have to worry about bringing my needles or bringing my supplies, my TENS units, my lights, because everything is there. And on most ships these days, we have LED lights that we use in conjunction with our acupuncture treatments. And we also have a type of TENS unit that can be used on the acupuncture points. And so we have a variety of ways that we can treat someone in a treatment room. I like to make sure that during my breaks in between contracts that I'm educating myself in other areas of Chinese medicine, so that way I can have a toolkit of different ways to use acupuncture. And in our field of medicine, there are over 200 ways to treat someone with acupuncture. And this is based on all of the different modalities from the different pioneers that have come from China to teach us things like the balance method, auricular acupuncture, distal acupuncture, mapping acupuncture, the list goes on. If you're not an acupuncturist and you have no idea what I'm talking about, just know that everyone is different. And so we tend to diagnose everyone differently, and we all, as in us Chinese medicine practitioners, have a different way of treating people based on the methodology that we like to use based on our clinical experience. So, stepping into an office and not having to worry about table paper or any kind of supplies is very reassuring, because that means I can take whatever I want in my suitcase, whether that be an extra bikini or some extra fancy clothes and shoes. I typically travel with about 10 pairs of shoes, and I have 2 super huge suitcases full of things. And I end up giving things away, and then I end up buying things on the trip too. But For the most part, the fact that I don't have to bring anything for my clinical practice is so nice. When working on land, there are other expenses that we have to take care of, right? We have our overhead, the rent, the expensive supplies, marketing, and other things. Well, on a ship, you don't have to worry about that. All of your overhead expenses are paid for. You are given typically an officer cabin, which can have a porthole or not, but it will typically have a queen size bed. So you'll have a big bed. And you'll also be able to dine in beautiful dining facilities. You are treated like an officer. You are running your own department. And so coming on board to these vessels, you have to carry yourself in a very professional way because you are a professional. And so to know that I have these expenses that I don't have to worry about, my food's taken care of, my accommodations taken care of, that actually makes me feel really good. In fact, when I did the numbers, a small portion of my salary or my pay does come out to pay those things. But if I do the numbers all over again, we're talking $1,800 a month in overhead that I don't have to worry about. So that's from supplies to room and board and food to eat, So that is a really huge thing off my back. I can just worry about whatever responsibilities that I have at home, from paying my bills and paying any type of mortgages that I need to pay, or taking care of my property, and not have to worry about, paying into being on the ship. And everything's clean. I get someone who comes in and cleans my cabin virtually every single day. So I always have a clean bathroom, a clean bedroom. My bed's always made every day, which is awesome. I make my own bed, but it's always nice when somebody else makes the bed too. Excursions. So if you make great friends with the people in excursions, you are going to have an incredible contract, because that is the highlight of every port day, being able to get off on the port and go on an excursion. So the way this works is, when there's an excursion, sometimes there is a need for an escort. And so if a crew member has time off, they can put their name on the list on the excursions that are going out for the day. And this can be a really great way to meet new people on the ship who have not come by your office or your facility to see what there is to offer. And in these opportunities, I get to talk to people, get to know the guest. I interchangeably call them guest and patients. But most importantly, you get to have a great time on your port days, which is always the reason why I decided to have this lifelong career on a cruise ship. I love that I'm manager, my own department. Sure, I have to report to the spa manager, who is managing the whole operation. And I do have to send reports on a bi-weekly basis on how I'm doing on board. However, the acupuncture department, the Chinese medicine department, is my responsibility. So if I'm late for a seminar, if I'm late for an appointment, if I'm late for a consultation, that is going to look bad not only on the business, but it's also going to look bad on me, and I'm going to look unreliable. So it's just like running your own office on land. You are running your own department at sea, and nobody is really the boss of you, but you do have a responsibility to communicate to other leaders what is going on in your department. And this can mean communicating to them what kind of supplies you need, how to get more needles, how to get more table paper, and making sure that your orders are coming in, making sure that the person at the front desk is communicating to you what patients you have, scheduling out your patients in a timely manner so that way your patients are not waiting for a long time. One of the beautiful things about working on a ship is that you really want to have this presence of punctuality, and you don't want to let your guest wait. You let your guest wait, then that is going to, not going to look good for you or your business. And plus, people are there on vacation. They're there to enjoy their time with their loved ones, and they should not be waiting in a waiting room for their treatment to start. they should be greeted at the front desk by myself or someone to take them back to the room to where they will immediately begin their session. So I really love that I can run my own department. I value my fitness and my health. That is a very important thing for me. And even though my days are super long on board, I have to find a way where I can either do a yoga routine, do some weights, or get some exercise. Of course, I'm walking all day long, so that's about 10,000 steps a day that I take running the ships from breakfast to lunch to dinner to the desk and to the treatment rooms and all around the spa. It's a lot of walking. So I've steadily have accumulated about 10,000 steps a day. But aside from that, I need a way to just blow off steam, because some days, like on C days, they could be really, really long days. Or you can have an entire day booked full of patients back to back and have seminars twice in one day. And you just need something that's going to help you decompress. And so to be able to use the facilities on board when the guests are using them, to be able to also have the liberty to use the crew facilities down below deck is a nice luxury to have. The facilities for the guests are always clean. It's also in my department. And I also have my colleagues who are personal trainers at my disposal if I have a question about diet or nutrition or trying to build a muscle group of mine that is stubborn. So it's really cool that I have that ability to use that facility to my best. I would say that when it comes to income, that some of the top income earners in this career field of Chinese medicine doctors at sea are making about $100,000 a contract. And they are literally the best acupuncturists at sea. And it's not so much that they're getting incredible results. It's just that they're able to see such a volume of patients or guests. And that means that they're able to get incredible results and see incredible, get incredible results and see a high volume of patients at the same time. And this has to do a lot with the technique of acupuncture that someone's using. I like to use balance method. Balance method is an easy way for me to treat distally, get the results without having to have my patient disrobe. Because a lot of times when you get patients who are having a hard time taking off and putting on their clothes, this can take time away from the next patient that's coming. Another thing too is, some of the top acupuncturists are really using the other modalities that we have to offer, like the LED lights, and they're very knowledgeable on light therapy and what light therapy can do to help the person recover from pain, depression, fatigue, insomnia. And so I like to keep myself educated in those fields and write about those areas in my blog on Medium, because I want people to see that I have this command in this department, in this industry. And when I get a patient who comes to see me and they're like, oh, I wondered about this. Well, I can tell them about it, but then I can also say, hey, there's these other resources. So I'm not sure that other acupuncturists do this who are the top income earners, but I know that there are people who've been in the industry for years and they just keep on coming back. And so I am not an anomaly. There's about a couple thousand people who are practitioners at sea. Some of them take longer breaks than others. Some of them go back to back and keep on working on ships over and over and over again. But the top acus are making $100,000 a year, and this is within 5 to 7 months. Of course, it depends on how big the ship is, because if you're on a very big ship, then you have a very captive audience. But if you're on a smaller ship, maybe something like world cruising, the chances of, making that amount of money are probably a lot smaller because, you're talking volume here. So it is a very lucrative career path. And today, people are wanting this. They're wanting to have this experience at sea. So I have gone over public speaking, training, how I love this career path because I can make a great income in a short period of time and have the rest of the year off to work on other endeavors. I talked about how this is a career that's in demand. People want to get acupuncture at sea. And then also how it's a turnkey operation, that it's the overheads are built into your stay and your accommodation, your food. So you haven't got to worry about any of that stuff. And you can take excursions. You build rapport with the massage therapists who are also training you, and you're training them to help bring more patients into your schedule. And then you're running your own department, the use of facilities, and also, having all of your port days off so you can enjoy all the beautiful destinations and the places that the ship brings you to. So I hope this has encouraged you to maybe step out of your comfort zone and try something different for a contract if you're an acupuncturist or a Chinese medicine doctor. And maybe you're thinking about going to Chinese medicine school. I've got some really great suggestions for that. And if you are wondering how you can work with me, well, that's a tricky question, especially when I'm at sea. So there are ways that you can work with me. I will leave my link in the description below where you can find me on heal.me, and we can have a consultation. I can share with you some of the things that I share with my patients when they get off the ship and how I can work with you remotely. But most importantly, from a nutritional standpoint and from a homeopathy standpoint, I have some really great suggestions for anyone who's dealing with challenges and are looking for a holistic option. So thanks for watching my video today. Be sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already. And please share this video with somebody, maybe your acupuncturist or something. I would love to inspire them to do something different. Where else can you travel the world and see beautiful places and do what you love? All right, everyone. Thanks. See you next time.